Hi, welcome to Gear Garage. My name is Zach, and this is my funny little show about rafting, kayaking, that kind of stuff. And welcome. This is something I've really been enjoying doing, and I've been really busy this summer, and I haven't done that many. I'm excited to jump into a bunch more in the fall. And over the summer, I've been having a lot of people request certain videos. You know, cover this, cover that. And some of them are just out of curiosity. Some of them are people debating on the river, wanting me to do a video about it to answer the question. And I by no means want to present myself as the person that knows everything and all the answers. This is just my best attempt to communicate the things I've learned about different rafting or different things that I know or give my opinion. So I actually love the discussion happens. So if you think that I'm wrong or partly wrong or completely wrong or a moron, please tell me in the comments below. Like I could be wrong. I learn a lot from these videos as well and from the conversation that we have and the discussions I've had afterwards. So this video is more meant to kind of share my current opinions on a topic and shed some light onto something and hopefully create discussion that makes me better as well. So today we'll talk about foot cups. I guess there was some disagreement on whether foot cups are a good idea or a bad idea. And just to give some background, I had the crack team here at Gear Garage come up with some diagrams. This is a typical 14-foot boat. And in the 90s and even 2000s, people mostly used 13 and 14-foot boats with two thwarts. And you know, whether you were commercially guiding or taking people down the South Fork of the American or the White Salmon or the Arkansas, most people use this boat. It was a 14-foot with two thwarts. And the thwarts weren't originally there for people to tuck their feet under. They were originally there to create lateral stability for the boat, right? If they weren't here, these tubes would crush in more or go further away. So putting thwarts gave the boat some lateral stability that it just needed in case it hit something weird or a rock. And people would tend to fall out of the boats. They didn't have anything to hold on to in the boats. And so the foot cup was an invention where people could put a foot cup, you know, right here and maybe right there and put their feet inside the foot cups. And so this is what a foot cup looks like. It's just this thing you can glue to the bottom of the boat, to the floor, and stick your foot into, right? And that allows your foot to be stuck in the boat and you can really get out and paddle harder. And I paddled a bunch with foot cups, and you know, even this is commercial boating, but this is also going out with 4 or 5 of your best friends and running class 5. And back in the 90s, people weren't R2ing as much. If you went to go raft class 5, a lot of times it was a team of 4, 5, 6 people in a paddle boat, you know, running class 5, a paddle boat with two thwarts like this. And so you know, I remember having great times having my feet jammed in the boat, and we're running big old rapids, and we're leaning way outside the boat with big paddle strokes, and as a team doing cool stuff. And for those experiences, the foot cups were great. And over time, there were a lot of discussions. This was back in the 90s when foot cups were pretty much everywhere, right? About whether they were safe, because there were a handful of stories about flipping and somebody getting their foot stuck in one, or a foot cup maybe twisting somebody's leg or something. So there's a lot of people that think that, yeah, they add for stability, but they're a potential hazard, potential risk. And so, you know, there were people who did and there's people that didn't. And I guided a lot with foot cups on the Tuolumne in California. I got used to them. And then something changed. And I don't know if somebody purposefully did this or I don't know what happened, but boats started having 3 thwarts. And this is, I probably saw this for the first time around 2002, 2003. And instantly I was like, oh, that's smart. Because the person sitting right here and right here could tuck their foot under each of the thwarts or kind of put their foot up against it for stability. And instantly you didn't need foot cups here, 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 or here, right? And there was an ability to eliminate foot cups. And some people still kind of held on to the idea of foot cups. But most of us started buying 3 thwart boats, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And in these, I've had a bunch of debates about foot cups. In these debates, I finally convinced myself, if you don't need foot cups and you take 3 thwarts, you shouldn't put them on. They are a hazard. And so I was sort of an anti-foot cup person for a while. And actually the main reason is that when you put a foot cup in a boat, you have to glue this to the bottom. And that's a lot of work. Gluing anything to the floor, especially a ribbed floor, like on a Sotar or an Avon, is incredibly hard. And when people are putting their feet in these and pulling all day, there's so many weird forces that eventually foot cups rip. And I've had to repair, personally, so many foot cups inside boats, I'm just over it. I don't want to put foot cups in boats because I don't have to deal with the repair. And a lot of times the foot cups would tear the fabric off of the boat, and repairing a floor would be incredibly expensive. So what finally put me over the edge was repair. I just didn't want to deal with putting these things in, and I didn't want to deal with repairing them. And in terms of the safety issue, I can see both sides. Staying in the boat is a good thing, right? If a foot cup keeps you stable in the boat and keeps you from falling out, that's a really good thing. But I can also see the 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, some number of times when a boat flips and a foot gets stuck in there where you might come out. And honestly, I don't know the answer there. It's sort of like strangle straps or those things that you put around your boats where it can help people grab the boat, but they could also grab people's arms. It's a judgment call. And in a lot of rafting, there's a lot of safety judgment calls we have to make that are tough. And quite honestly, I don't know the answer on this, whether it's better to be more stable in the boat or deal with a foot cup that can keep you from falling out. What I do know is this is sort of the standard foot cup, and it seems hard to me for a foot to get stuck in here. And people have made since then foot cups with bigger things, so there's less likely your foot gets stuck in there. Some that pivot. There's all kinds of cool inventions and things we're trying out. Again, this is pretty standard, but over the time to handle this, different foot cups have been designed that I think there's a less chance you'll get stuck in the boat. So going on really quick, with the 3-thwart boat, it pretty much eliminated the need for foot cups for the most part, but I still think that in the front, the people in the front here need foot cups. I'm drawing them kind of weird here, because they can put 1 foot underneath the thwart or against a thwart, and the front foot is still free. And this is a debate I actually had with my guides. We bought some brand new 14-foot boats, and I chose not to put foot cups in the front. And the guides who worked for me in Idaho, they were disappointed there weren't foot cups. Like, no, foot cups are dangerous. It's no big deal. And I, over the course of a number of trips, had talked to our guests and got feedback and realized that our guests prefer the foot cups we're staying in, and that people were falling out more because there weren't foot cups there. So I personally was somebody who didn't want to put a foot cup in there, mainly because of the repair issues and partially because of the safety issues. I was convinced that for safety, for those people in the front of an R6 type boat, R6 means 6 paddlers or whatever, a guided 6 paddlers, it's nice to have them in the front. So my personal choice when I'm thinking about a paddle boat, whether it's class 5 or just a class 3 commercial, whatever it is, to do a 3-thwart 13 or 14 foot boat and put foot cups in just the front. And I've convinced myself over time that that's the way to go. And the only other, and that's just my choice, and I figured that out, and hopefully some of you consider that as a possibility and realize there is a point in the value for foot cups at times, knowing that it's possible that you could have a flip or something where a foot maybe could get stuck in there. I've never seen it happen. I've only heard rumor, but I guess that it does happen. The other thing I just want to bring up is those of you that prefer the 3 thwarts over the 2 thwarts and the foot cups, I get that, I agree. But thwarts aren't exactly infallible either. I know a lot of stories about people jamming their feet under thwarts and getting them caught. You know, I've seen personally a leg stuck under a thwart. And so we have to be careful that although we've gone to these 3 thwarts, that people aren't jamming themselves in there. So I actually personally think it's more dangerous to jam your foot under a thwart than a foot cup. And so when we're sitting on the outside of the boat, ideally we kind of have our feet kind of up against the thwart, squeezing outwards to hold on. But you know, not everybody has that muscle strength or ability, and they might start jamming their feet underneath the thwarts here on the side. So that's my thoughts about foot cups. I think they're a potential hazard, but there are circumstances when the trade-off makes it worth having. Again, if you have thoughts, questions, concerns, whatever, I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below. I haven't had this debate in 10 years, ever since we went to 3 thwarts, except with my guides, so I'd love to continue having it online. All right, thanks for joining me. Bye.